Shalom, everyone. This is the routine for the letter Hey. Wide stance, slight bend in the knees, hinge in the hips, and you're going to hinge a little deeper once you feel you've got a strong decompression stance. Now you can keep this hinge position, wide stance, if you want, as your first stance. An alternative is to come up into the sphere of tension or the platter for a very challenging one. But if you're just starting out, go with the decompression stance with the hinge in the hips. The second position is fingertips on the ground. If you want to switch this up later on, you can dorsiflex one foot, bring that same side arm up into the air, just a little challenge, helps you hinge a little deeper, and that's it. You're taking 10 breaths in each of those positions, alternating at the blast of the shofar. So Hey, it's the fifth letter in the Aleph Bet. It means look, behold, or revelation, and it is thought of in Judaism as the divine breath. Hey appears twice in the divine name, or the Tetragrammaton, Yahweh. So it's the right hand of power that reveals the nail that brings revelation. Reveal, revelation, behold, these are all the meanings of Hey. So the only letter to appear twice in that name. Even though the Yod does not appear in the story of the Aleph Bet until the 10th letter, just like in our Bible, Yeshua does not appear until the New Testament. Yod is hidden amongst some of the other letters, just as Yeshua is hidden but clearly seen all throughout the Old Testament, and especially in the first 5 books, the Torah. The Aleph is made up of 3 parts, 2 Yods and a Vav. The upside down Yod is a picture of the earthly realm, and it appears the same way in the letter Hey, upside down. The diagonal Vav in the letter Aleph means hook and is the connection between the earthly and heavenly realms. Just as Yod is hidden, Aleph is hidden and silent. Bet is the first letter of the Bible, but the Aleph, which is a picture of Yahweh, is unseen. He was always there, and he is here now, even though we cannot see him. A Yod was given by the Aleph, the king, to join Dalet, to give us Hey. So the Dalet looks exactly like the Hey, it just has that upside down Yod, which is a picture of the earthly realm, or just as it is a picture of a hand, it could be a picture of a root. So this gives us the idea of adoption or grafting. So Dalet was the door, and Yod is the hand that opens it. The upside down Yod, just like your fingers holding onto the ground here, appear as a root in the letter Hey. The Yod is Yeshua, the right hand who opens the door and brings revelation. Isaiah 5:5-7. Now come, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will remove its hedge, and its grapes will be eaten up. I will break through its fence, and its vines will be trampled down. I will let it go to waste. It will neither be pruned nor hoed, but overgrown with briars and thorns. I will order the clouds not to let rain fall on it. Now the vineyard of Adonai Sabaoth is the house of Israel, and the men of Yehuda are the plant he delighted in. So he expected justice, but look, bloodshed, and righteousness, but listen, cries of distress. The vine was cut off, but the root remained. The vineyard is the land of Israel. Israel was always a spiritual identity, but also the promised land. The plant Yahweh delighted in was Judah, the good olive tree, which Messiah came from. In the Bible, many agricultural themes are used. Mankind is a picture of the fig tree planted in the garden long ago. But we were cut off, just as Israel was cut off and cast from the garden, the promised land. Even the temple is a picture of the garden, the menorah being the tree of life. The root remained is what is important. When Yeshua went to the temple on Passover, he cursed the fig tree on his way, and when he came back, it had rotted away. Yeshua was pointing out the hypocrisy of Judaism that had sprung up from the heavy-handed religiosity of the Hasmonean dynasty, keeping the letter of the law without the heart of the law. Yahweh allowed Titus, the son of Vespasian, who conquered Jerusalem in 70 AD, to cut the fig tree to the root, and he cast it from the vineyard, because they would not learn to love according to the Torah. He took their temple away and threw them out of the land. So figs begin to ripen as early as August, but they appear in springtime and ripen. Figs can even last all winter. So when Yeshua cursed the fig tree, it was right before Passover. Figs would not have been on the tree unless they had survived the harsh winter time. So the fig tree represents the nation of Israel. A new tree will spring from the root, and we must be grafted into that tree. It doesn't replace the old tree, because branches can be grafted or ungrafted. So we are grafted into the root of Jesse, which is Messiah, but the tree is Israel, God's chosen people. Isaiah 11, but a branch will emerge from the trunk of Jesse. A shoot will grow from its roots. The spirit of Adonai will rest on him, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and power, the spirit of knowledge and fearing Adonai. He will be inspired by fearing Adonai. He will not judge by what his eyes see or decide by what his ears hear, but he will judge the impoverished justly. He will decide fairly for the humble of the land. He will strike the land with a rod from his mouth and slay the wicked with a breath from his lips. So remember that Dalet represents humanity fallen from grace, impoverished and humbled. The Yod came to join Dalet and create Hay, a picture of us being grafted to the root, filled with the divine breath. We need to be bent down in humility like the Dalet before we can receive from Yahweh and become Hay. Then we will receive revelation that we have become his sons and daughters. We are incomplete without Yahweh sending Yeshua to redeem us from our fallen state, the right hand. Abram, with the added Hay, became Abraham, just as Sarai, with the added Hay, became Sarah, complete, restored as his children.